This is the Midwestern Whisper, and this is Whisper 93. I apologize that it's been so long since I've whispered. It'll be a month tomorrow, and this is by far the longest I've ever gone. School has been tying up a lot of my time, but now I'm done for the winter break until January 9th of 2012, so I should have some more time to do at least a weekly whisper. And the baby's growing by leaps and bounds and requiring a lot of attention, so I've been trying to give my family some more attention. And also my computer's on its last leg. It's been giving me problems for a long time, but it really is about done. I had to even restart my computer to get it to accept the microphone. And I must apologize if the fan starts making loud noise. It has a tendency to do that. This is a wired microphone, so I'm as far away as I can get from the computer, which is about 4 feet or so. But I am getting a new computer next month, so that will be a good thing. It's my experience that a computer can be good for about 4 years, and then after that, it generally is too outdated, or just doesn't keep up as well as it should for various reasons. I bought this thing thinking it was, almost top of the line, but unfortunately, it was the first quad processor computer out. I mean, it was I don't know if it was the very first, but it was the first month that quad processors were released. So it, not being a prototype, but being the first marketable computer with a quad, after a couple of years of trying to figure out why it has so many problems, my dad, which is an amateur programmer, we finally concluded together that it just wasn't fully tested. They might as well called it a beta. The beta testing with programs, the hardware should have been the same. We tried to blame Vista, but I had another computer, a Dell. It was actually older than this one, that had Vista on it, and it never crashed, not once. And a fair estimate of how many times this thing has crashed would be, it's almost 4 years old now, so I would say it has crashed at least 200 times. Sometimes it'll crash 5 times a day. Sometimes it'll go a week before it crashes. But anyway, I guess that's enough of the complaining about the computer. I'm getting a new one next month, so what else? As I've explained before, my classes are condensed classes. They're only 8 weeks long, so full time is just 2 courses. And when I first heard that, I didn't think that it would be enough to occupy my time, because previous years I've had four classes in about a 4-month term. But yeah, it was a believe how much I learned. Before I get too much into into that tangent, I want to say my other class was social policy and social working, and I ended up with a B. I found it kind of dry, and because about half the book was about the politics behind it, and I can't get into politics. I've tried from time to time, but yeah, it's just too dry for me. But back to this seminar class, which was a requirement to graduate with a bachelor's. But I had taken a couple environment classes in the past, and they didn't leave a lasting mark with me. Not like this class. This class, we had to do a lot deeper assignments, a lot of research. We had essays every week, and quizzes, and a really good book. It's by the author Lester Brown, which is an American, and the book is called Plan B. I don't know if it's the latest edition, but the edition we used in class was edition 4. And you can find some interviews with Lester Brown on YouTube if you're interested in the environment. And basically Plan B is how to save this planet. And I'm sure that some people that are likely to hear this are going to be denying that there's anything wrong with the environment, that we're not heading for something catastrophic, but I was one of them. Although I'd taken 2 environmental classes for my associate's degree, it didn't really stick to me. I only recycled when I had to save money. Being that my garbage is paid for now, I didn't recycle until I started this class. And the main thing that made me realize that there really, truly is a problem is that we had to write a paper for our final grade. And this term paper was 19 pages long. And I did the research based on Iowa, so it was close to home. And there's no denying it, folks. Starting from about 1980 on, the carbon emissions that we were putting into the atmosphere has increased precipitation, mainly all at once, meaning that we're dry, then we flood because there's too much rain at one time. I took the average annual precipitation and averaged it by decades. The 80s saw an increase, the 90s was worse, the 2000s were way higher, and from about 2007 on, it's off the charts. And this also applies to average temperatures. Iowa never saw an average temperature of 50 degrees for the year until the early 80s. 4 years later we had another. 4 years after that another. The last 4 years, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, have all been over 50 degrees. Okay, when you look at it like that, it doesn't sound like much, because I didn't take it seriously when they were talking about this in the 90s. They said 1 degree increase over 100 years, and that sounds like nothing. You're talking, it just sounded like infinitesimal. But It's happening much faster and much faster. The increases now, they went from 100 years to, in the mid-2000s, saying decades. Then they said massive change in 10 years. Now they're saying in just a few years. Not only was the precipitation and temperature higher, flooding's off the chart. Starting in the 90s, the increase between flood damages in Iowa from 1950 to the 1990s was 100 times the cost, and I'm talking about today's money. Extreme weather events. We all have been hearing about them. 2010 and 2011, just in Iowa, had 8 declared natural disaster emergencies in 2 years. There was only 3 in all the 50s, based on weather. Which, in Iowa, most natural disasters are weather. We don't get earthquakes, things like that. And, I'm just talking about climate change. I'm not talking about the earthquakes and things like that, which could also be human-related. If you look into fracking, which is a different topic I'm not going to get into, but I'm not talking about necessarily the end of the world. These problems are man-made. There's more to it. But I don't want to get on too much of a tangent. Safe to say that we're in trouble. We've all been hearing about the ice caps not refreezing as much, and they're at all-time lows. They've been charting it with satellites beginning in 1972. But there's something that's even more serious, and that is the permafrost in Siberia. Permafrost is organic soil that is frozen. I don't think it goes real deep. It's a matter of a few feet. It's delicate, yes, but the fact is that the average temperatures are rising globally, and when it reaches enough to melt this permafrost, it has billions of tons of methane. Methane is 20 times more potent than any greenhouse gases we're putting in the air right now. And with that much being released at once, no one knows what's going to happen. But one thing is for sure, climate change will be out of our control. It won't be slowed down. It won't be stopped. It won't be reversed. And it's scary. Again, I'm not saying Armageddon. I'm not saying the end of the world, but drastic changes are coming if we don't change. And from the book, he's saying 80% reduction, and they used to give a time frame of 2050, but it's gonna have to be much sooner than that, and I just don't think it's gonna happen. I am recycling everything that I possibly can in my community. We have 2 cars, but one isn't used much. So a tank of gas for us will last 2 weeks. So I feel pretty good about the emissions that my family's putting out. We have all electric heat. I keep most things unplugged when not in use. So our carbon footprint just saving money. Yeah, because he pays for the trash. But take it to heart, people, because it's real. And I'm sorry if I sound like I'm lecturing, but it's an important topic. I know some people think it's just a politician's agenda, but there's more to it. And as the next few years move on, you're going to see it with your own eyes a lot more. Not just the fact that we're seeing warmer weather. Here it is, 8 days to Christmas, and we've only had snow on the ground twice, and it only stayed for a day. And I was out picking up leaves on December 17th, and I've been noticing these warmer patterns, since 2005 when my son was born. But it's only going to get worse, and people are going to start really seeing it with their own eyes. So, again, I'm sorry that I'm lecturing, but this is something you should be informed about if you're not already. So, any little bit that you could do to help, it's not a waste of time. If you try, other people see it, they'll make more of an effort, and maybe we can put a dent in it, slow it down, at least. So, okay, I think I've gone on enough. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. I probably won't get another whisper out before Christmas, but I'll try to get one out once a week thereafter. So, take care.